They said he would never walk. They mocked him, cursed him, even called him a burden. But destiny does not bow to mockery. From weakness he rose. From exile he returned. And from the ashes of humiliation he built an empire that would shine across Africa. This is the story of Sundiata Keita, the Lion King of Mali. Long ago, in the 13th century, in the lands of the Mande people, there was a king named Nare Magan Konate. One night, a great hunter appeared before him. His clothes were ragged, his eyes burning with strange wisdom. He spoke of a prophecy. "A woman will come," the hunter said, "ugly to the eye, yet her womb will bear a king greater than all before him. He will be the Lion King, and his empire shall stretch farther than the desert winds." The prophecy came true when Nare Magan married Sogalan Keju, a woman mocked for her looks but gifted with great spiritual power. From her womb came a boy named Sundiata. But when the child was born, people gasped. His legs were twisted, useless. He could not walk. The king loved him, but whispers spread. Is this the lion? This crippled child? As a boy, Sundiata was mocked by his peers and scorned by the king's other wives. His stepmother, Sasuma, the jealous queen, sneered, "Look at him, a crawling child. Can he ever be king? My son is stronger, wiser, destined for the throne." Sundiata's mother, Sogalan, held him close. She whispered, "Do not listen to them, my son. The lion may crawl today, but tomorrow he will roar." But years passed, and Sundiata still crawled. His hands were calloused from dragging his body on the earth. His siblings ran and played while he struggled to lift himself. The laughter of other children stung like knives. One fateful day, Sasuma insulted Sogalan in front of the whole village. She mocked her, saying, "Your son is nothing but a crawling beast. My boy will be king, not yours." Sogalan wept bitterly. That night, Sundiata, still a child, looked into her tear-streaked face and spoke with a calm fire. "Mother, dry your tears. Tomorrow I shall walk." The next morning, he called for the village blacksmith. "Forge me the heaviest iron rod you can make." The blacksmith returned with a staff of iron, long and strong. The people gathered, curious, doubtful. They watched as Sundiata, trembling, pulled himself upright, gripping the staff with all his strength. He pushed, his legs shook, he screamed in pain. The rod bent under his weight, but he stood. For the first time, he stood tall. Gasps filled the air. Children fell silent. Even Sasuma's face froze in disbelief. And then, with one great roar, Sundiata threw the bent iron rod to the ground and walked. From that day, no one dared mock him again. But destiny is not without obstacles. Soon after, King Nare Magan died. Sasuma's son, Dankaran Tuman, took the throne. Sogalan and Sundiata's family became targets of jealousy and persecution. Fearing for their lives, Sogalan took her children and fled into exile. They wandered from kingdom to kingdom, strangers in foreign lands. Sundiata grew in strength and wisdom during his exile. He learned from hunters, from warriors, from kings who sheltered him. He mastered the bow, the spear, and the sword. He became tall, broad-shouldered, with the strength of 10 men and the heart of a lion. Everywhere he went, whispers followed. "This is no ordinary man. This is the lion foretold." Meanwhile, back in Mande, a great threat rose. The Soso king, Sumaguru Kante, a ruthless sorcerer king, spread terror across the land. He conquered kingdoms, enslaved peoples, and burned villages. His power seemed unstoppable. The Mande people, desperate and broken, remembered the boy who once bent an iron rod. They sent messengers into exile, begging Sundiata to return. "Come back, Lion of Mande, only you can free us." Sundiata heard their plea. He looked to his mother, who was growing frail, and said, "Mother, it is time. The lion shall return to reclaim his land." After the death of Ghana's empire, chaos spread across West Africa. From the shadows rose Sumaguru Kante, king of the Soso. He was no ordinary man. Some said he had made a pact with dark spirits. Others swore he could vanish into smoke or that arrows bounced off his body. But his power was not only magic, it was cruelty. He enslaved nobles, burned villages, and demanded tribute of gold, slaves, and daughters from every conquered state. He even took the sacred balafon of the Mande people, keeping it as a trophy of humiliation. Fear silenced nations, but fear also bred resistance. In exile, Sundiata had grown into a man of great strength and charisma. He had built alliances with kings who recognized his leadership and admired his wisdom. When the Mande messengers found him, he did not hesitate. He raised his bow to the sky and declared, "By the spirits of my ancestors, by the iron staff that lifted me, I shall return and free Mande." Word spread quickly. The Lion King was coming home. From every corner, warriors gathered under his banner. Archers from Do, horsemen from Mema, hunters from the forests. They carried spears, bows, and charms, chanting war songs that echoed across the plains. The Mande people, once broken, now marched with pride. The land trembled as two forces prepared for war. On one side stood Sumaguru with his terrifying army of Soso warriors, fierce men clad in iron, carrying poisoned arrows and fueled by his king's dark magic. On the other side stood Sundiata, carrying the strength of prophecy, with hunters, warriors, and horsemen who fought not for gold but for freedom. The Mande warriors, once broken, now marched with pride. The land trembled as two forces prepared for war. On one side stood Sumaguru with his terrifying army of Soso warriors, fierce men clad in iron, carrying poisoned arrows and fueled by his king's dark magic. On the other side stood Sundiata, carrying the strength of prophecy, with hunters, warriors, and horsemen who fought not for gold but for freedom. The armies crashed, spears flew, arrows darkened the sky. Horses trampled the earth, and the cries of men rose like storms. Sundiata fought at the center, his strength unmatched. Wherever his spear struck, enemies fell. But Sumaguru seemed untouchable. Blades bent against his skin. Arrows vanished into smoke. The Mande warriors trembled. "Is he even mortal?" they cried. But Sundiata remembered his sister's words. He fitted a white rooster spur to the tip of his arrow. He drew his bow, aimed at the sorcerer king, and released. The arrow struck. Sumaguru screamed, his body shuddering. For the first time, blood spilled from the tyrant. His magic broke. Terrified, he turned and fled into the mountains, his army scattering like leaves in the wind. The battlefield was silent. Smoke curled into the sky. Corpses lay scattered, but victory belonged to the lion. The Mande warriors knelt before Sundiata, raising their spears in salute. "You are our king," they cried. "You are the Mansa of Mali." At that moment, the Mali Empire was born. Not from gold, not from sorcery, but from unity, courage, and the dream of freedom. Sundiata established laws that bound his people together, respecting the hunters, the traders, the warriors, and the griots, who would preserve his story for centuries. From the ashes of Kirina, a new dawn rose. Thus, on the fields of Kirina, the crippled boy who once crawled on the earth defeated the sorcerer who terrorized nations. Sundiata Keita, the Lion of Mali, carved an empire whose memory still roars across Africa. His legacy was not merely in battles won, but in laws, unity, and the belief that destiny cannot be denied. If you felt the roar of the lion echo in your heart, then join us at The Story Weaver. Subscribe now for more forgotten battles, untold legends, and the stories that shaped our world. Do not let history's voice fade. Let us keep it alive together.